we jump into this video, I'd like to give a special thanks to these patrons. Thank you for the support. If you want to support me on Patreon as well, the link is in the description. Yo, what is up? My name is Sven and today I'm going to show you guys the 2x2 chat V2. If you haven't seen the V1 version of this base, I would recommend you to watch it, although the V2 version is definitely better. Now once again, this base is designed for online raid defense potential, and based on my own experience, this base has a lot of online raid defense potential. It is also designed to be a bit cheaper than my usual bases, and ultimately, or max, I would say this is a 4-man base. You could still probably build this base as a 2 or a 3-man as well. Now, if you don't want to farm a lot, but you do plan on being raided and you just want a PvP, this is the base to build. This base has everything you need. Multiple bedrooms, inner peak downs that are segmented off, a shooting floor with really good peak downs and cracks, roof peaks and angles, a hub in the middle that you can peek from on the roof as well, perfect turret spots, a bunker from the front door, and a lot more. Now without further ado, let's jump into the video. Before we jump into this build, I'd like to mention that you can load this base on Builder's Sanctuary using the following code. Alright, so allow me to show you guys the base. And from the outside, this is how the base looks. I specifically did not add any honeycomb, but you could do that because I like to give people the idea that it's cheaper to raid from the side. There's 4 TCs. 2 are actually connecting to the base, the other 2 are just externals with the gatehouses. And if we enter one of the gatehouses, we have these gatehouse peaks. You go in here and you can jump down here. You can look both in and outside of the compound. If you're getting door camped, you could potentially kill people. If you're getting raided, you can possibly defend a raid from this, because you can basically see the whole compound on this side, and on the other gatehouse you can see the whole other side. Now the gatehouses, or the actual airlocks for the base, are very simple. You could change them. Nothing special, just double doors, and that's it. Then we enter the base, inner peaks. You'll notice that the inner peaks are 1 floor lower than usually, and that's mostly because I wanted to make this base cheap. As it's like a duo/trio base with online raid defense capabilities, it's probably good to not have a too expensive base. Turrets in each corner, and you'll notice these peaks, which I'll show you guys in a sec. You can't get to them other than from going from the top there. So you can just go around. Everything is segmented with garage doors. That way, if you get raided from the side, you only lose this part of your base, not the whole inner peaks, not the whole bottom floor. So we enter the base through this door right here. You should probably make that an armored door eventually, but it's airlocked, of course. This is part of your starter, honeycomb 2x2. We have a roof bunker in here that raiders would have to pass through already through doors. And then we have the bottom floor TCs here. Doesn't matter that it's bottom floor because we have the externals. So coming up here, we open some garage doors. We have some extra loot storage, and we have the 2 other bags. So you notice there's 3 bags here for the main loot room, and there's another one right here for the 4th person that you're playing with. Vending machines to maximize storage capabilities, and in the honeycomb I have vending machines and furnaces, just so they on this side have to blow the vending machine up. So if you're getting raided from the side and raiders blow right here, they'd have to forcefully destroy your vending machine and everything inside will be gone. Just a quick pause here of something I forgot, but you can actually place 2 vending machines inside the triangle that you see on the left. Place 1 vending machine, then the window, and then you can fit the other one right inside. So the raiders won't have it, you won't have it. So be smart about what you put in those. Loot rooms or boxes on the floor, I like this a lot better. It saves a lot of space, and it allows me to have the 2x2 honeycombed. And so go back up, or we continue up, going up here. We have the inner peaks. Goes all the way around. Now I like to have these inner peaks slightly elevated. So you can see these are connected to the outside, and that's the part where there's honeycomb. And these are connected to the inside. Okay, that's the part where there's no honeycomb. Now I would not really expect raiders to blow right above your door, but you never know. So yeah, continue on inner peaks. We have actually 3 bedrooms, as 1 is the way down. As you can see, this is 1 bedroom, 1 bed. So I'd say you put your 3 most active people here because they have this extra bedroom. These are not main bedrooms, but they're nice to have. You can also utilities in there, whatever you like. So on each corner we have a garage door with a window. This way you can see if you're getting raided from the top, if raiders are in there or not, and you can also look out into your inner peaks. Very functional. Yeah, each corner of them has a ladder hatch. They have, of course, the windows like this. It is a pretty tough angle. I would not expect you to do a lot from this, but you never know. There might always be a raider somewhere hiding in those corners. This angle, however, is very, very good, as it allows you to basically see half of the base if you're getting raided from the side. You can potentially peek here and potentially kill a raider. Now, there's one on each corner, so if you go to this side, you can still see the other two sides that you couldn't see from the other corner. It's pretty good. So we go back up here. And as you notice that up here there's no ladder hatch. If we go to the next corner, there is a ladder hatch. If we go to the next corner, there's no ladder hatch again. And we go to the next corner, there's a ladder hatch. Now the ladder hatch corners are the ways up to the shooting floor. As you notice, there's just a ladder hatch. That's it. Let's just jump up here. You'll see that there's nothing here to go to. But on the ones that don't have a ladder hatch, it's our bedrooms. So if we go up here on the next one, there's no ladder hatch, but there's a door right here. These are our bedrooms. Again, a window, and I'll get to those windows in a second. Batteries, I wouldn't actually not recommend to place them here. I'd preferably place them right here, because now you can't really go through this window or look through. But it allows you to see if you're getting top down, if raiders are going through this ladder hatch or not. And if this battery is not there, you can pick up this window and potentially come behind the raiders and surprise them. Going in here, we have the core of the bedrooms. We have two garages going outwards, two beds on each side. These are the main bedrooms. This floor is the dead floor, and it's full honeycombed. If you're getting raided from the side, there you have to blow through two walls to get to the beds, which they will never do on that height of a floor, which is really good. You can spawn here, and you can decide to go either down or up to the shooting floor. So go back up. We go through one of the ladder hatches. There's two, once again, one on each corner. And we enter the shooting floor. Here we can just look out into the peaks. Standard stuff. Each garage door here is a shooting floor bedroom. One bed on each, so 4 beds in total. Once again, each single door leads out, although 2 of them lead towards a peak that you can do on the roof right here. There's another peak on the other corner, and then the other 2 corners have turrets. Very basic. And it's our way up to the roof as well with a ladder hatch. And the same is on the other side. The other doors lead as an airlock, basically, towards your shooting floor. And as you can see, if I had both doors open, there's no way raiders can go through here. Standard shooting floor, normal peaks. We have these nutty peaks right here that are really good. And we have the normal corner peaks with the normal roof peaks as well. So we go back inside, and there's one more thing I'd like to show you guys, which is the center. If you go down here, there's a ladder hatch. Now this is kind of airlocked as well, because this room up here is kind of important. I would recommend to have bags here. There's a box with a hammer, and you can pick up one of these, and you can basically peek raiders from any random window you want if they're raiding from the top. Next to that, there's also turrets, so this base is pretty hard to raid from the top. And in my experience right now in Rust, in the current Rust meta, make sure that people just can't raid you from the top. Use all your turrets, use your high call, whatever you can to prevent people from raiding you from the top, because that's pretty much the only way you'll lose a raid. If raiders have enough rockets, they can just land on your roof and they can just pound your base down, and there's nothing you can do. So prevent that from happening with doing stuff like this. Very important, and that way raiders are basically forced to raid you either through doors or through the side, which allows you to potentially defend a raid from the peaks, which is what you want. So that's basically the base. I don't think there's anything I missed. Pretty straightforward. I'm trying to do these things a bit more quicker. And yeah, let's just jump into the build. I'll show you guys how to build it. Alright, now let's talk about upkeep of this base. It is a base with inner peak downs. It is a base that has a shooting floor and inner online raid defense potential. And so it's not definitely made to be the strongest compared to the cost. Once again, it's many of my bases. But it's a very, very significant upkeep. With all the deployables placed and everything. For one of the 2 externals that hold up the base, we have 7.8k stone and 600 metal. Now I do know that if you upgrade absolutely everything to metal and you remove all the stone, it's about 4k to 5k metal in this TC. Only that TC. So it's another TC on the other side, making it to about, let's just average that on 10k metal. These external gatehouses, you basically build them, you put this upkeep in, and you'll basically have 7-day upkeep, which is enough for the whole wipe anyway. So we can just ignore those 2 from the upkeep anyway. You farm that once, it's done. I'd like to say that the same is on this. You can put like 3 or 4 day upkeep in this, and you'll be fine. So you don't even have to worry about that unless you put more stuff in your base, of course. So if we go into the inside, into the main TC, we have 6.7k metal and 100 or 10k stone. Again, if you upgrade everything to metal, I'd say it's rounded up about 15k metal in total. If you place a bit more deployables, it's probably about 16k metal. Which makes the total upkeep of this base, with all the deployables placed, I would say about 25k metal a day. But the upside is that you can basically farm once and get enough upkeep in for 2 to 3 days, even 4 days if you do it right, and you'll be set. So that makes the base very cheap in terms of upkeep, because the split is everything is split. Now for this 2x2 you do need a flat area. It doesn't have to be that flat, but it would optimally be the best. We start with building the starter, and you do need a double door and a single door for this starter to work. I'm gonna build everything in the desired material straight away. So I'm gonna use metal. Get your 2x2 down like this, with an airlock. Single door up front. Do not place anything here. You cannot have an airlock with 2 single doors. Wall here. Triangle like that. Double door frame there. Door, or wall. Raised foundation like this. To close off your starter, you can put a full roof on top. And of course, place the door right there and right there. This is your starter. Now to make the base a bit more secure and to place the TC, because that's kind of important in a base. I'll put the TC right here. You can decide to do a window. You can also just do a door. It doesn't really matter. You want to put a wall right here. And you want to put a door frame like this. Now I would recommend to already have the bunker. So you place a roof like this. You upgrade this roof to armored or metal, preferably armored. And you put a twig roof like that. Now this is your way in, this is your way out. Now to kind of secure your base a bit more, it's pretty important you put another door right here. Just so you have some kind of airlock. Because for the bunker to work, for you to be able to place this roof, you cannot place a door frame here. It's impossible. If we go back outside of the base, it's useful to have an extra airlock. So we put 2 more single doors like this. Of course we put doors in there. And we put roofs on top. This is pretty safe now. The only weak spot of your base is this right here. You can put a triangle right here. You put 1 wall, a half wall, triangle on top, remove the half wall, and put a wall like that. It's not more secure, it's still 1 door, but it's better. It's also important to secure the bunker so that people can't soft side in there. So you put this on top. You want to add honeycomb to your base. You can go all around and do that. Now this 2x2 has 2 mirrored sides. This part right here with the front door, there's a triangle that's connected to the main 2x2. We do that on the opposite side as well. We fill that up with honeycomb and we put a roof on top. Now these 2 sides, it's important that you leave this open. You cannot place a triangle here and you cannot do that on the other side. Now of course our base is still weak to be ready from the top. And so we're going to add walls. This is very easy. Just add walls in the whole outline of whatever we have right now. Once you've done that, you need a jump up. Put a wall right there with a jump up like that. And of course a door. Now the rest doesn't really matter. You could not build anything of this and just fill it completely up. Like this. This is your basic starter. This is pretty much what you should have before you actually start committing to farming. And before you start committing to building the whole base up, including the inner peak downs. So after you have this, it's important that you start farming. And after that, when you have about the box of stone, you start building up the external part of the base. Now I'm gonna do that in stone. So what you do is on the parts where you already have this triangle connected to the 2x2, place a square foundation and 2 triangles on the sides. Now you do the same on the exact other side. Now we're gonna do the external TC. So you place a triangle here. It's temporarily. We're gonna remove that. 1. You go out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Triangle. Remove everything behind, including this triangle in here. Then from this triangle back here, we build back the triangles. And on the end we place a square with 2 triangles on the side. Now you do that on the other side of the base as well. After that you should be left with something like this. Now it's important to remember which sides are the multi-TC sides. And that's easy to remember by checking these gaps in the base. The honeycomb is not filled up on that side and on that side, meaning this is a multi-TC part and this. So from this angle it's left and right. Now it's important that the following is attached to the multi-TC sides. So let's take the left side for example. We're going to stand on top of this foundation, and we look towards the base. And we have a left gap and a right gap. Now, both sides, you do a triangle like this, triangle like that, and then a square and another square. Square and another square. You remove these two to have something left like this. You do the same on the other side. Now, after this, it's important we connect the TC to this, because this part of the base does not have a TC. So I like to use I like to be able to expand my base with honeycomb later on. So we put a triangle on both sides. Now we're gonna build with triangles. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3. We remove these until you have a shape like this left. And in the end, we place our TC. Should be able to place that, as you can see. So we just do a classic TC with a window. And we do the same on the other side. Once you have done this, it's important we start putting out where our front door is. I like to have the one here and the one here, aka the non-multi-TC parts. And then we just build a full wall around our base. Like that. Now this wall is required because this foundation is not connecting, but it is connecting once you put these walls. Now the only thing that's left to do here is to connect our TCs with the actual base, because this right here is not connecting. So we take a frame and we place it on the left side of the TC, and we make it go like this. And on this part we do a wall, as later on we want that to be honeycomb. So we do the same on the other side. Alright, so once you're done with that, we're going to continue building up the base. We add another layer around it. And on top of that, we add another layer around, just so we have some cover while we're building the peak downs. Now, there's some stuff in here that we're going to do. But the only thing we really need is to have a door frame here with a window, and the same on the other side. So you want to make sure that the soft side of these windows is facing towards the corner. Now we do that on each corner. Something else that's required to do is to fill in this honeycomb. Now this was connected to the multi-TC, so we put that up and we do the same on the other side. And this triangle right here is supposed to be connected to the main base, but the wall isn't. As you can see, it creates this gap. Now on the corners, and we're going to repeat this on all 4 corners. We're going to want to do a half wall with a floor. Remove the half wall. Then put a frame with a square frame. Remove this double door frame. Put a half wall. Put another floor there. Remove the half wall. Put a window there and there. Remove the floor under. And then put 2 low walls like that. So you'll be left with something like this. Now, it's important that when you're building, you don't fall in there. Don't fall in there. The only way you can get out of here is if you do have the ladder hatch placed here already, or if you have a ladder. Or if you were smart and you placed a twig stair up front. But I always forget that and fall in there. Now you have these corners on each corner, so 3 more times. Okay, once we've done our corners, we can actually fill in the honeycomb or the peak downs. Now, what you can do, there's 2 things you can do here. You can go for these in the corners. They're kind of mandatory to have. And to fill these up, what I like to do is I like to vary them, and I actually did this wrong here. There's supposed to be a wall. So what we do is we build up this wall. So we have a triangle on that side, on the multi-TC side, and we have that honeycomb done already, basically. After that, on both this side and that side, we can actually go ahead and do the peak downs from the outside wall. And normally that would not be smart to do, because as soon as this wall crumbles, this peak down falls. But since we've added honeycomb here, we can actually do that. And we can vary the peak downs a little. So on this side, we do still connect them to the main part of the base. And the same on the other side. Now, for this part, I would recommend to build this all in metal. But if you want to be real annoying, you make this armored. Now, these roofs you can access from below. But this part right here, you can't. So I'm going to build everything in armored that you can't access for hand. So what you want to do is create a half wall in metal. All around. And then, of course, also like this. Now you want to get these, what's it called? These ramps. And actually, you cannot place these yet. You're going to want to do the ramps first. The ramps you should make armored. And then place the half walls. You fill that up. And you leave it like this for now. Something else that we didn't do yet is down here. We haven't really built anything. And we need to because of stability. So you want to fill in the rest of the frames here. And you want to put in the main loot room. This is the main loot room. You want to put a wall like that. You want to put a window, 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 window. You want to put a wall like this. You cannot place a wall or a frame here. It's not possible. Look, if I do that, the bunker does close. So So you cannot have a frame there. You can have a frame here, 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 everywhere else basically, except for that part right here. Leave that open. It's pretty useful to have at least one way up here on the side that raiders wouldn't raid from, the most likely. So what you want to do is put a frame and a window, create this kind of like corner. You want to do the same, but you want to do the frame every time, so it goes clockwise. Now, where do you want your way up? Basically, you mirror it. So if you do one right here, what I like to do is put a triangle on the outside, half wall triangle, and then connect a triangle like that. And I want it to face towards the double door. They do the same on the basically opposite side of the base. So we do one more here. And actually, the other two need that as well. Now, to continue on, what we want to do is put a square and triangle on each part of the base. And then for the multi-TC part, we want to connect the triangles to this side. Actually, that's not the multi-TC side. This is the multi-TC side. You'll see, you should have something like this. So basically, the side that's not multi-TC, you want to have the triangle connected to that and not to the frame. And in this case, it is already connected to the frame because there's no gap. You can see here's a gap. You can have two places to attach to. But on here, there's no gap. Can't mess that up. So you'll be left with something like this. Now, the logic for this is that since that is a multi-TC part, aka this floor right here and this floor as well, we can never have them connecting. There's always going to be a gap. But the logic in is that this square and that square are attached to the same foundations, and so they are able to connect. So the goal is to connect those. So put a square on those sides. Same here. Then we put two half walls like this that we make metal. And we put triangles top. Like that. For the rest, we want to connect everything to the TC. So as you can see, we can connect this square right there, creating a gap here. But we want to connect it to the TC. So we want to create the gap right there. Very important. So you end up with something like this. If we go down here, we can finish up the rest. And it's important again that we make this floor right here armored, because we're not going to be able to reach this floor anymore. So you put a half wall. You can't put a half wall, sorry. You put a low wall like that. Make those metal. Put a low wall in the middle. And then put a ramp. Make the ramps also armored if you can, but if you don't have enough stuff, you make them metal. Can't reach them anymore though. And then low walls as well here. So the whole center of this base, starting from this floor right here until there, it's all half-walled, including ramps, to prevent top-down raiding. And we did the same on this side. And the last thing we want to do in the peaks is connect or make the bedrooms or the utility rooms. So each room is like that with a door frame going out towards the peaks. That's all for the peaks, except for one more thing. We want to put door frames here. And the main reason I have those door frames is so that the gaps where the multi-TC parts are kind of covered. Then again, it also increases stability of your base. And that's basically it for the peaks. That's basically it for the next floor. Once again, we're going to put walls all around. And on the triangle honeycomb part here, we're not going to put walls. We're going to leave it like that. All right, so now we're going to have to decide where we want our jump ups. So I want to have this one right there and that one right there, as we're doing it mirrored. So what we do is you put a window and you put a wall on top of where the frame is. So like that. You do the same on the other side. Wall and window. You can put a glass window in there. You don't have to do that yet. And then here you put a square frame and you put a ladder hatch on those. So that's your ways up towards the shooting floor. Now, to place the ladder hatches, I think it's easiest if you come up here, you only have a little spot to jump, but if you go here, you have a bigger area to walk on, so you place the ladder hatches facing that way. Alright, now for the other side, this is a relatively weird part of the base. This is what I like to call the dead floor, and this floor is mostly here to buffer the area between the peak downs, which are here, and the shooting floor, which will come up here. In case your base is getting rocketed from the side, they can't take your peak downs and your shooting floor at the same time. And so this is a perfect area to put bedrooms, because it's directly between the peaks and the shooting floor, and so you can spawn in your bedroom and go up or go down depending on where you're getting raided from. So one thing we gotta do for sure, and we're gonna go out from the fact that you want to upgrade the space full to metal at some point. So you want to put a wall here, half wall, and then remove the half wall, upgrade this floor to metal because we can't reach it later, and put a wall like that. You want to have that block basically on each square. The next on that, we want to add honeycomb. So you put a wall here, wall here, wall here, wall here. And you do that on all sides. And you should be left with... Hold up. Can't remove that wall. There we go. Should be left with something like this. Pretty big area. Now there's faster ways to do this and secure it faster and put the roof over on top already. But it's kind of a complicated area with a lot of doors and pathways that... I just want to make sure it's easy to understand. So I'm not going to put the roofs on top just yet. What you want to do is you want to look for where this square connects with this triangle. And there's two sides for that. You put a double door frame there and a double door frame there. Now, I'm going to check for where the jump up is. There's one on the right there. So you want to put a door on the left here. The same goes here. A door is on the, or a jump up is on the right. So the door goes on the left. And then a window. So you create this middle ring kind of. Now here you put a wall. Here you put a wall. And on here you put a window. Facing with the soft side towards the bedroom, because that's the bedroom. Do the same on the other side. So rotate that, put a wall there, and a wall here. Make sure that there's a door frame here as well. Same here. So that's this for this floor. You can basically completely fill this up. And I like to start with these triangles in the corners here. So you create something like this. Now here, of course, we close it off. Same on there. This part, you basically want to follow the whatever you did on the bottom. So you can see there's a gap here on the left. So you want to make sure that it's not like that. That's incorrect. You do like that. Same on that side. I can do the same here. This one you can't mess up. Right, now for the center, we should be able to do this. It's easy to remember. And of course, there's no gap here. There's no gap here. So this square cannot be messed up either. These cannot be messed up either. And once again, for these, you can either decide to... This doesn't really matter. You can decide to connect them to the core, which I like, which I would recommend. So like this. And you'll be left with something like this. Next part, shooting floor. And by this time, I would recommend to also have an airlock. I like to do like this. Door on the right from the outside and windows. Of course, you can make the airlock whatever way you want. The shooting floor, it's pretty easy. On each corner, you go with triangles out. And you connect both sides with a square. Like that. Make sure that this square right here is following the line. That's the easiest way to remember. Same on the other side. And you do that on each side. Alright, next up is to put the roofs. So you get a full roof. Put them like that. And you put them on all the gaps. At this point, I'd also recommend to upgrade your core floors to metal. Oh, that's kind of wrong. What you want to do is you want to have a window on each roof. And then on each roof, double door frames. There we go. On each corner, we want to have full walls. I know it's useful to have windows there, but I like full walls better. Because I don't like when you're building a smaller base, when raiders could potentially push each other on a shooting floor and then look into like half your shooting floor. Now for this part, it's kind of preference based. You could put a door there and there, but I recommend to put a door on the left, like that, with a window on the right. Door on the left, window on the right. For the outside part here, it speaks for itself. On the right side, you put a frame, or a door, I mean. Now here you can't put it, so you put a double door frame. Like that. Now, something easy we can do at this point is to fill up the outside ring. And that will allow you to take heli relatively safe, easier. So, it could be useful to do already. I just do it because it's easy. Make sure that you're connecting all the roofs to the right walls again. And once again, you just follow whatever you did below. Alright, now for the two corners where there's no ladder hatch, you want to put a... actually, let's wall off the ladder hatch first. Now, I don't like to have a door frame that goes straight next to this door, because it could potentially be splashed. So we put the door frame going out like that. The same on this side. Now, for the same goes here. It's probably not a good idea to have a door frame next to that door. So, put another frame like this. And we do the same on this side. Now, on this part, do not put a floor on top. What I like to do is have bedrooms in each of those squares. So one is like right there. One is right here. Then, the ways up and down, I like to integrate with a double door frame. So towards the ladder hatch, a double door frame. And then the ways out towards the shooting floor, I just use single doors again. To create some kind of a small airlock. Now this part right here is going to be a stair where you can peek the roof. That's it. So I like to use single doors there as well. So I use single doors and single door skins and double doors and double door skins to indicate which is what. And it's easy to remember. In the middle here, we want to do, and this is important to do this right, half walls all around, although you don't want to put one right there. So it doesn't really matter how you do this. Just make sure that there's 2 gaps on any side. Doesn't matter. You half wall that. This wall we can't reach anymore, so we make that metal already. And we put half walls like that. Make sure that the soft side is facing inwards. Floors on top, and then a triangular frame. Then windows all around. And what we're going to do is frames in the middle and put a rooftop. This is actually probably better to have. So let's have them right here. And let's have them right here. And basically the rest is just filling up, except for these 2 squares over there. So fill up like that. See there, this triangle was wrong. And then for the rest in the inside here, let's just do that in a sec. Let's do this part first. You put 2 half walls and 2 low walls like this. Make sure you do it like that. And do the same on the other side. And then in here, what you do is you get a spiral stair. You make sure it's aligned like this. And you build it 3 times up. And we have the peak. And we do the same on the other side. So we go to the door. We align ourselves. And 3 times up. Now in the center here, want to follow what's down here. And this triangle, or this square is attached to that. But that's alright. Want to make sure that the gap is going to be on the window there. So one like that. The same on the other side. Triangle right there. Create the gap in the middle here. That's perfectly fine. So we have it like this. Now I know there's still this gap right here, but that's the only gap, and you should be able to fill that up with the door frame. So we put door frames on those parts. And now there's basically no place where raiders could shoot you from, only if you're down here, which is when you're going up and down. It's this very small gap. Raiders can't they could perma sit here, but they're gonna need a lot of people to be able to shoot you there if you're going down there. So for the roof, easiest thing to do is to create the other 2 corners here first. On these 2 corners we're gonna have turrets, and we have them walled on the top so that they can't be rocketed out that easy. Now on these corners here we do 2 full we do full roofs on the corners first. You need to do them first. You can't place them after. Like that. And then full roofs here filled up with a triangle roof. Like that. We do that all around. And one more thing that's important for a base is windmills. What I like to do is have them on these corners. So what I do is 2 frames, square frame, squares around, and a floor on top. And we do the same on each side. Right, that's our windmills. Last thing you want to do here is put a window on those, on the roofs. It's very important. And there's a couple of upgrades left. One of them is the compound, and I like to do them basically afterwards. There's also another thing you can do with external TCs, and there's also a part you can do with adding honeycomb. Now, adding honeycomb to this base could be quite difficult, as you cannot place a square here. So let's do the compound, and let's do some cool gatehouses. So what we do is we put 2 triangles like this with a triangle like that. And we build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 triangle. And we remove all this. And we build back with triangles again. Put a square right there. And what you can do is a triangle like that. Remove everything except the square and the triangle that we just placed. We go out. 1, 2, 3 squares. Triangle. 2 squares attached. Triangle attached to that. Triangle like this. And triangle like that. You have something like this. You remove these. Remove these. And you can even remove this one or that one. Doesn't really matter. Now we're going to create a TC house. So we go here. We place the TC with a window. And a rooftop like that. Wall there. You can even put another thing there. And then a garage door if you want. I would have that like that. Frame in the middle here. Frame in the middle here. Now for this, we're going to create the gatehouse. What I like to do is a half wall like this. Make sure that the half wall is rotated towards the inside. Low walls all around. Then put a triangle frame. Floors. Window there. Door there. Windows all around. Single door right there. Roofs on top. And there we go. That's what I like to have a gatehouse. Right, now the last part is the actual compound. And there's a couple of things you should know when you're placing a compound like this with the foundations and the walls clipping into them. One thing that I have, the way I make the compound, is you could go for placing the wall right here or even go around this TC, but connect them to these gatehouses. What you can also do is put them already right here. And what you'll have is you'll have more of like an egg shape where the compound is thinner on these two sides. And the main reason I like to do that is to kind of force raiders to give them an idea of like, hey, you should blow right here and then you should blow the side, you know? So that's why I have it like that. So if you do it my way, what I would recommend to do is to place this wall right here first. Make sure it's clipping in the frame. And the one next to it as well. Both aligned. Doesn't even have to be perfect. This is already fine. Now you do the same on the other side. So we have those foundations done. The same you do here. And here you just have it so it goes facing kind of in the corner right there. And it goes facing towards that way. Doesn't even matter really how you do this because we're doing wooden walls if you mess this up. Now, you'll notice that this gap is too big for 2 walls. And it's basically too small for 3 walls. So we go out a little bit more. Like that. And then we should be fine. Now, I didn't do it perfectly. But if you want to do it perfectly, go in a tiny bit more. If you want to be on the safe side, from that area, just make the wall face straight towards the next wall. There we go. We have the egg compound. So I would say that's basically it. Now, we're missing deployables, of course. But those speak for itself. I do want to mention the loot room though. If you want to maximize your space, what I would recommend is to have vending machines in all of these. If you're getting raided from the side, raiders are basically forced to blow that vending machine. And if you put your good loot in there, it's really hard for raiders to get all your good loot. I know you will lose it too, but it's better than the raiders having it, you know. On here, we put boxes on the floor, and you'll see in the intro and in the preview of the base how I have done that. I just realized, but there's something I missed out, and that's the placing the barricades on top of the gatehouses. Now, what I like to do is have one in the corner like that, and one in the corner like that. And then to make it easier, I place a twig behind me, and I place the last one like this. That's how you do it. Now, to prevent people from going up here and potentially building twig right there and then boost over, which is fairly easy. To prevent people from building twig, what you can do, put electrical components right there. You can't build. Now, people can still build twig there, but they're gonna need a ladder. So if you want to prevent people from doing that as well, you just put another one right there. Basically, any like useless electrical components that you have, place them over here. And the same goes on top of these frames. Just place them literally everywhere, and people cannot build any twig on your base. As you can see, if I have ladders, it's a different thing, but there's literally not a single spot right now that I can place twig. Except for that one, because I placed that one too low. So make sure you place it high enough. There you go. Alright, now that is it for this one. In this base build, I did try to make it a bit faster than usual. I tried not to repeat stuff, and I tried to cut out a lot of silence parts, but this video is still relatively long. I mean, it's still a build video, and I'm doing my best to keep them as short as I can, but I just feel like there's always some things that I have to explain in depth. And once again, I would also like to remind you that you should never exactly one-on-one copy this base. There's a lot of variations that you can do. Different places you can place the TC, etc. And with that said, if you want to see the variations that I do to the base when I build it on a vanilla wipe, I would recommend you to go on the Builder Sanctuary server and load up the base using the following code. And once again, if you do have any feedback, or if you do end up using the base and actually defending a raid, please let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to know. And if you like the base, make sure to leave a like on the video to support me. And if you want to see more of my content, more base build videos, more gameplay videos, subscribe to the channel. Trying to reach 20,000 subs before the end of the year, and that would truly be amazing if we can do that. I hope you're all taking care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.